Welcome back to the John and Linetia Show.
We'd like to thank Bob Jones from the Costume Emporium for coming in with models to show us the hottest girl costumes this Halloween.
No, my favorites were the Slutty Nurse and the Slutty Nun.
I preferred the Slutty Cat and the Slutty Insurance Claims Adjuster.
What are you going to dress up as this Halloween?
Zombie Dracula, of course. What about you?
I'm going to put on platform shoes and be John's taller brother, Ron.
Oh.
Yeah, you won't recognize me.
I probably won't.
I'm going to be taller. You won't know who I am.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of not recognizing, I don't think Chicago recognized the fact that the taste this year wasn't going to make any money.
Oh, come on. The only people who actually thought that the Taste of Chicago might make any money, or at least said so in the press, was the mayor's office.
Oh.
I mean, come on.
Plus, he changed the prices on a couple of things.
Well, you're raising the prices on stuff and you're shortening it. And you got to pay for the music somehow.
Yeah. You know what? And a lot of people did go out to that, you know. My issue is, and of course, I don't know, have you ever been to the Taste? Have you ever gone?
Never, ever.
I haven't been in recent years.
Yeah.
But you go out there and, you know, you have 5 tickets and that's enough for just one item.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And if you want something else, you got to go buy 7 more tickets for that, you know.
Yeah.
And I understand the concept of you can have a little taste of everything. But I just always thought it would be better just to go to the restaurant, you know.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And just, you know, try something. I would really need to research and go back and see, has the Taste of Chicago ever made money? I would like to know.
I don't know that it ever has.
So this is just something that they do to entertain people.
Pretty much. I mean, ultimately, the only way it's really going to make money is if you charge admission to the whole thing. Or if the city basically, you know, with all the tickets and everything, takes a bigger cut of the money from the vendors.
So I was going to say the vendors make money. They make
Probably,
money.
Yeah, they must.
The vendors make money, but it's the city. Mm-hmm. So they don't have to pay.
The city has to pay for the music.
Okay.
And all that, you know.
So the vendors don't have to pay a fee to be out there?
I think they do.
Or they're just invited?
No, I think they do. You got to pay for your booth space, but I think it might just be a flat fee. You know, unless the city, you know, takes half of the ticket price or something like that. But either way, the way the economics are working, the city's just not making money. Quite honestly, you know, let it go. Let it go away.
Some people are going to oppose that. You're not
or do
say...
a taste without music. You know, or you know, solicit local bands and performers to play, you know, cheaper than the national acts.
Yeah, but for them, it's more like this is the highlight of the city. Yeah. You know, people are gonna come out because you know you have Gladys Knight performing, or you have Black Eyed Peas performing. You know, these are the people who people want to see. You know, Green Day's performing, so come on out. You know, that's the big deal for it all, and it's tradition. You know, the Taste of Chicago has been in existence for a long time, so that's the big deal. But, you know, this is another way, I guess, and as you call him, Daly Jr., has probably not made a good decision here and needs to find another way.
Well, you know what? They tried. They thought, well, let's scale it down and add a couple more fees. It didn't work. So you know what? I would say gut the whole thing.
It's probably not going to get it gutted. They're going to find another way.
Yeah, I mean, it'll still go on.
They're probably going to start charging admission. And people are going to oppose it, but some people are still going to go.
Yeah.
And then, they had to beef up the police out there.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was like, oh, now there's some violence and stuff out there. That kind of stuff probably don't make people come out. Plus, it's during the summertime, too. People, it's real hot out there with all those people.
I know. So, we should do it in January.
Yes, that's a great time in Chicago, near the lake.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
Italian lemonade stand would be the most popular.
I say, Rahm Emanuel, go back and do some checking. Come back with a new idea.
Speaking of checking, do you have a checking account at Bank of America?
I do not, but my mortgage is with them.
Your mortgage is with them?
Yes.
Was your mortgage initially with Countrywide?
It sure was.
Wow.
Yes.
So the U.S. government has is basically suing Bank of America, who now owns Countrywide, saying that the Countrywide executives basically were telling everybody to just churn out all of these mortgage loans and fudge the applications and hide the defaults and pretty much, So...
not surprising.
I guess not. I remember actually you at one point had told me about I don't know if you refinanced Countrywide, and I actually looked into it. And
Countrywide didn't even want to let me do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're going to lose money if you refinance.
Well, I even looked into it for a while, although my mortgage broker yelled at me. He was like, "What are you doing? I can get you a better deal than Countrywide." As it turns out, since I couldn't get a deal, since I at that point was too underwater, and we're talking about 3 years ago, that there was no way I was going to get it with Countrywide since that seemed shady. But well, you know what? It's the banks and these mortgage companies that caused the financial crisis, and I think it's good that the government is now finally going to go after some of them.
It's just really sad. It's just really sad.
Yeah,
This might have been, well, it is part of the reason why the housing market is the way it is.
Well, it is.
And part of the reason why people are losing their homes.
You had those bad loans, and what had happened then is that Countrywide had these bad loans, and eventually they had to be covered by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Ooh,
and
yes.
Which I thought they made candy.
Not that Fannie Mae.
Yeah?
It's a...
Fannie Mae and
look it up.
Fannie Farmer?
Just look it up. Look it up, lady.
Anyway, I'm like, loans and truffles? And turtles? What?
Turtles are good, though.
So anyway, apparently, because the, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac they essentially covered the loans by buying the bad loans. Well, Bank of America should be buying those bad loans back. You don't saddle these government entities with the bad, ultimately. And according to the government, Bank of America is taking their time.
Well, that's because if you read a little bit further into this, Bank of America is trying to fix their image. Yeah, so taking bad stuff back makes them look bad.
Yeah, well, I don't know that any bank has a good image right now, anymore.
That's true. Well, let me think. Chase? Oh, no, they had those issues with them.
They all crooks.
Citibank?
They all bad.
No, just had a problem with Citibank, too.
There's now one bank that is not culpable for the financial crisis that we're in. They all were bad.
When I spoke to one of my friends, and they told me maybe we should think about refining with a neighborhood bank. Like Fifth Third or...
Fifth Third's not a neighborhood bank.
I guess there's, right there, not a big bank. And I was like, oh, no.
There's a big bank. Yeah, there are neighborhood banks, but a lot of them, they only do so many mortgages. I mean, they don't have the assets, to refi everybody's. Yeah. And then even then, because they don't refi, they don't have as many mortgages, their interest rates aren't going to be as low. So you can talk about, it's sort of the Walmart conundrum. I want to support local businesses. Oh, but the prices are so low at Walmart. Oh, but I like to save money and go to Walmart. I like to support the local banks. Oh, but the interest rates are so much lower at Bank of America. So that's the problem.
That's a decision you have to make. Yeah. Do we do this or, you're trying to make your area or wherever you want to say your neighborhood, your hood, kind of flourish and grow, but we're not investing.
Right.
And that's a whole another...
But in the end, you know what? I like that the government is finally going to be trying to...
Some people don't like that. That the government's taking over. Isn't that one of the things they're talking about now?
Well, the government had to bail out these banks. The government bailed them all out because, a lot of them were going to go under, but they were too big to fail. So we have to give them money and bail them out.
I say step in and help out. Step in and help out.
Kill them all, let God sort them out. That's what I say.
Oh.
All right, we'll be right back after these words from the color pink. Who just wants to say, oh, okay, that's enough with the pink stuff. Give it a rest.
You're listening to the John and Linetia Show.